What's up, YouTube? What's going on? How's everybody doing? I see we got some people in the chat. Thanks to everybody for coming out. Let's just see. We got Big Lion Cat here, Arsenio Ramos, Gorilla Grodd, Amazing Murphinator, Jeff G, Art Chemist, Sacco Jones, James Biggins Gang. What's going on, bud? Comics Lover Omega. What's going on? Discovery Bay. What's going on, brother? Rags. What's going on? Ruben Nieves. Thanks for everybody for joining. Appreciate that. So, just a whole video here. A couple of things I wanted to rant about, more or less, and lead up. And the New York Warriors are going to have their live show today, so 10 o'clock Eastern time. If you get the chance, go check out the New York Warriors. Always a good time. Always a good show. Got a haul for about last 2 weeks or so. So I just want to show you guys these books here. From my LCS, I picked up these Inhuck Lee connecting variants for the X-Men. So Prisoner X connecting variant. He's done a really nice job. I mean, beautiful artwork. Hot Shots #1 variant, meh. But I always take them for my LCS. I get 10% off. So Don Dizzle, what's going on? How's everything? Hey, Wobbles, what's going on? Really like some of these scroll variants, and this was one that I thoroughly liked a lot. For Uncanny X-Men, that's really nice. And that's Tom Rainey, I believe, did work on this. Who, if you guys haven't met him at a con, stop by his booth. He's very reasonable with his commissions. He's done a lot of old X-Men work. Apocalypse and the Extracts, Inhuck Lee connecting variant. Very nice. Very, very nice. Hey, Gorilla Grodd, what's going on? So it's been last few weeks. It's been the weeks of auctions on YouTube. There's been some really, really good auctions. I believe it was All About Comics, and those guys, they had a marathon from like 2 o'clock until 12 o'clock until 9 o'clock that night. Warriors had their Tuesday night auction. There was another auction with I Got Issues and his crew of guys, Big Lion Cat and Thorough Q Burrow, and those guys had another auction with Need Mo Comics. So, there were just a lot of good auctions. There's a lot of good books, deals to be made. If you're patient and you want a book, you could pick up some really nice books. What else did I pick up? Just a little spec on, but Batman Who Laughs #1. This is the Perillo trade dress, and this is the first appearance of the Grim Knight. So I picked up a couple of copies of these. What else did we get here? This is the Perillo variant for Grim Knight #1. This one is the trade dress numbered to 2000, and this is the Virgin variant numbered to 1000. Big E's, what's going on? Talking about, they're saying Jeff G saying how they survived C2E2 Discovery Bay. They had a nice Stan Lee box there. They bought that Supreme Stan Lee box. You could get a Stan Lee autograph in it, and they pulled a live Inhuck Lee sketch cover. Both Discovery Bay and I forgot who else was with him had Stan Lee signed books. It looked like it was really, really, a good time. Hey, Poor Man's Comics, what's going on, brother? Poor Man's Comics, another guy. He sells some phenomenal books on these auctions. You're always getting nice deals. He puts up some great books. He's got an amazing collection. If he's letting the books that he's selling right now go, and watch their live video from C2E2. He was just pulling out book after book after book. I mean, he picked up a lot of books. It looked like they had a really good time. It was set up really nice. I enjoyed watching that. The community come together. Great Legend was there, and Mr. White Gloves was there. Cat Ren. There were a lot of people there. It looked like a good time. Picked up 2 sets of this actually, because I love the cover. Perillo's one of my favorites. and I hear he's doing sketches at cons now, head sketches and stuff like that, which he didn't do at New York this year. So I'm looking forward to next year's New York Comic Con because I definitely want to get some stuff by him. One of his best covers right now. This is a Clayton Crane, but another guy who does the Scorpion stuff. Cosmic Ghost Rider. I'm definitely going to get one of these. I'm going to get a sketch on one of these. I want to see what Crane can do. I'm going to leave it up to his imagination. I was thinking maybe if I could get him to do maybe like a Thanos or a Galactus head right there. Something pretty cool. I think that would be pretty sick. You know? Those of you guys that know Jimmy C from the community, he's one of the old school guys that we all watched. Super great guy. Unfortunately, he had a death in the family, and he was selling some blind boxes. So I made a donation, and I told him, don't worry about the box, as we all did. But he's just that kind of guy. So he sent me these books here, and I really appreciate them. Wolverine number 20. He knows I'm a huge Wolverine head. Generation X number 40. Gen X number 1, classic foil cover. Anybody remember that Generation X TV show? Yeah, that's it. You guys have got to watch. Discovery Bay is putting up a Perillo video. He's going to put up. He did a sketch in his book, and he recorded the entire thing. So we're going to see it from first brushstroke all the way through. I can't wait to see that, man. I am excited for that. Yeah, I saw that Green Lantern cover by Perillo. It looks sick. Avengers number 165 and Captain Marvel number 45. So shout out to Jimmy C. You didn't have to do this. I appreciate that, brother. You're one of this community. You're one of the guys that I first started watching. Kind of got me into it. I always watched him, and Jimmy's always got a story, always got a deal. I mean, you think I'm a wheeler dealer? You have to see Jimmy C. Go back and look at some of his old videos. He's hilarious, bro. And super nice guy. We got to meet him at a con, and now we kind of interact with him quite often. It was cool. It's cool just talking to him. So another guy I bought some books from was Tumo. Tumo was selling some books on Instagram. I was able to get Thor number 617. And that's the first kid, Loki. And then Justice number 2. Beautiful Alex Ross is the second print variant. That's amazing. Love this cover. Love that. I wish I had that for New York this year. I would have got this signed by him because he just does some amazing work. I think mostly everybody saw the New York Warriors unboxing with the famous, shall we call it, shredding of a book, the Vigilante book. Well, I also had gotten a box. I was unable to go with them that day, but I got your basic crap in there. But I did get this one here, which I like it. It's a Tyler Kirkham Virgin variant. That's pretty dope. That's some nice artwork. He did some nice work there. He did some real good work. Just Rican, what's going on, brother? How's everything? New York Warriors were hosting an auction. I don't think it was last week. It was the week before. And Doom had given Biggie some books to put up there for him. And there was one book on my radar, and I was able to get it. And I was super happy because this is a book that I've been waiting on for a long time. I'm a big fan of Marko Djurjevic's artwork. And there's a book that I just can't find in the wild, and it's Generation Hope number 1. I believe this is a 1 in 25. But if the X universe is redone and you get any Hope Summers, oh boy. This is probably one of the hardest Hope Summers variants to get. It's a super hot one. I mean, if you thought that Kirkham variant was hot, look at this. Look at Shatterstar. Look at Cable. That is beautiful. Just beautiful. Love it. Poor Man's Comic was on the other day. He was selling some books, and I was able to pick up this from him. Hit Monkey #1. That's the second print variant. And Avengers No Surrender. And it's a really clean copy. 634, First Immortal Hulk. Look at that cover. Mark Brooks killed it on that cover. And if you guys have not seen what this is going for now, go check out what it's worth now, slabbed. It will surprise you. It surprised the shit out of me. Hey, man from Beantown, what's going on, bud? And then the last book, actually the last book that I recently purchased, I got at an auction. I Got Issues had an auction with a bunch of other guys, and I stopped in to watch that. Hey, Nemo Comics, what's going on, bro? And I picked up one book, two books. I bought two books, actually. I bought a lot from Need More Comics, which I'll show on my next haul. I'll probably get that sometime during the week. But I also got this from I Got Issues, and that's Teen Titans #1. And it's signed by Marv Wolfman. Dante the Scrub, how's everything? So I just want to go over this book with you because this is a super clean copy. It's really nice. It's got a lot of pressable defects and can be cleaned. So my plan was to get this signed by George Perez at East Coast Comic Con. But whenever I get a book, I always open it up, especially older books. I'll open it up, do a page count, make sure there are no tears, any defects in the book. Sometimes, people get books and they don't even look at them. So lo and behold, I opened this book up, and I spoke to I Got Issues today, and he had gotten this from somebody else. He was telling me the story. 2 hours for the George Perez line of C2E2. Wow, yeah, I'm going to have to wait, though. I got to bite the bullet. I'll probably do that on the Friday when I go. I'm hoping the lines aren't that bad. Yeah. But anyway, so Teen Titans #1, right? Signed by Marv Wolfman. But when I opened it on the splash page, let me show you this. Oh, look at that. It's signed by Wolfman. It's signed by Perez. And it's signed by the inker, Romeo Tanghal. Now, I was looking them up. Romeo is up there in age, in his 70s plus. I've never seen him do any kind of signing. Now, he signed this 1982. The book came out in 1980, so this book was signed 2 years after. Back in the days when everybody signed on the first page on the inside. But, oh my God, I could not believe it when I got that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this signed by Perez. And then I'm going to get this slabbed somewhere down the line by CBCS and get the red label on it. And I think well worth it. Book that needs to be encapsulated. But nice win with a nice surprise. Can't beat that. It was a great, great surprise. Yeah, double sig book. I can't wait, but it's going to have 5 signatures when it's all said and done. Yeah, the inside is the way that used to be done. As in Funk, that's the old school way of doing it, and it was done in ink. Done in ink because they didn't want to ruin the artwork. It's not till recently that covers are starting to get signed. I try and be strategic so I don't ruin any of this gorgeous artwork by the master. But I try and save it. So I had brought up this topic. Oh, I want to say a month or so ago about modern books and are they worth investing in? And some people are stuck on the Silver Age and Copper Age and Bronze Age books and say that the moderns are worth nothing and not worth investing in. I'm totally against that. At one point, I was that guy. I believe that, that was my era, the Silver Age and the Bronze Age, and that was the only thing. But as I started reading story arcs, you started coming across some really, really good stories and some characters that kind of stood out to me. So, yeah, but I'm sorry, James Biggins. That's okay, man. I'll take that #1. That #1 goes for a decent amount on its own, and it's just the way the book looks. But started thinking about this, and I started going over my mind, and I just wanted to show you a few books. Like this character here is one of the characters that just captured my imagination. 5 years ago, I paid $90 for this book. Try and find that book now for $90. It's not happening. Laura Kinney is here to stay. You know, another one that I bought just because I was reading. You know what, Man from Beantown? They see everybody's talking, just the Thanos 13, but okay. Do you think that this is worth investing in? I don't think Spider-Gwen's going anywhere. After everything that happened and the way the movies blew up and everything, I think that Spider-Gwen is another character that's here to stay, another modern character. And just to show you, and I was talking to Biggies about this and some of the other guys. Hey, Silver Age Dave. And Dave is a guy who collected back in the Silver Age and collected that bronze stuff. When I'm buying books in the 70s and 80s, there are characters that were B, C-list characters, maybe D. This guy here is a C-list character. C-list character. He wasn't anything. His run lasted 25 issues. I loved it. I thought it was great artwork. I thought the story was pretty good too. I enjoyed it. But not till everything has started kicking in with the Marvel Universe and everything else. And now a book that for years you can get for cheap is no longer cheap. First Richard Rider. This book right now in a 9.8 is like a $700 premium on it. This book was never that expensive. Never. Now all of a sudden, a C-list character is picking up steam just because of movie spec and the hope of what will happen. Will it probably drop down a bit? Yeah, but it's never going to be the low price that it was. It's gotten that much of a bump that it'll never go down all the way. So it's just, I think that moderns are worth investing in. Certain moderns. Are there a lot of crap? I think that Immortal Hulk right now is a super hot book, but the Hulk is the Hulk. I don't know how long they will carry that story arc. The writing is great now, but like everything else, somewhere along the line, it's going to go cold. Will it be a top-tier book unless some movie's made on it? No, I don't think so. I kind of look at Immortal Hulk going in the same route as Old Man Logan. It's around forever. Not a super expensive book to get, but not a cheap book. C. Wood, what's going on? C. Wood got some amazing sketches. If you haven't seen, I don't know if he's done a video yet, but I was following him on Instagram. He got some great sketches at C2E2. He did really, really bang up work. Real nice sketches, C. Ed D, what's going on? Yeah, hey, Mr. Unknown Comics Guy, how's everything? Big Lion, what's going on? Thorough, what's going on, kid? How's everything? That's my enemy in the bidding wars because he's always outbidding me on something. Unruly Simeon, how's everything? So, what do you guys think? Are they worth investing or not? What do you guys think? I do not use Comics MV. Wobbles, I use GPA analysis. And that kind of works for me. Yeah, and you'll see that Silk, another character. Kamal Khan, another character. That eventually, she's going to be in a movie. She's going to be there. All right, so here's another one. This is a character that I liked. It was one of the first modern guys that I really enjoyed reading, and it had a thing to do with ethnicity, but Bendis did a great story arc on it, and it was well written. Ultimate Fallout 4. If you haven't read the Bendis run for first one, the Ultimate Spider-Man, when Miles Morales was in, that storyline, that's a great run. A must read. If you haven't read it, take a look at it because it's a fun read. really, really well written. And one of the raffles the other day, one of the auctions the other day, they had that. So you're gonna tell me Miles Morales isn't here to stay after what Spider-Man did in the movies with Miles? Oh my God, you already got a spin-off being set up, you know. Riri Williams, I don't know if she's there yet. I don't know if Riri is. I don't think she is. I don't think she's in that threshold of Kamala and Gwen Stacy and um, Miles Morales. I think those are your top tier, and then you got your middle tier guys, your Sam Alexander and your Riri Williams that are up and coming. Moon Girl, there's always a big push because that book doesn't sell, and there's a big push for her. But it doesn't even have to be like a big name superhero movie. I'll show you another book that all of a sudden and just on TV. Will it probably settle down? Yeah, it'll probably settle down, but it will never be that low end book that it was, and that's what I mean about these books. So they do hold some value. Winter Soldier is a book that I thought would be a lot higher. First appearance of Winter Soldier, and it's not. So you sometimes it's hard to spec and gauge these things. Don't get caught in the hype about the spec game. I try and read something and see if I enjoy it. If I enjoy it and I enjoy that character, then I'm going to invest in it. You know, this was something I watched first, and it blew up. And I got this from Seawood, but Umbrella Academy. Who here was really talking about Umbrella Academy 6 months ago? No one. No one. $300+ book in a 9.8. I think it is. I think it's like $300. It might be more. Might be more. Let's take a look at that. Umbrella Academy, #1, free comic book day. Last book, the book had a GPA, and just listen to this. This is what you're talking about hype, and especially since they've already announced they're going to do a second season for Umbrella Academy. But a book like that, 42 copies sold in the last 90 days for an average of $261. But you know what the last copy sold? And a copy just sold in March for $465. Rags on the money. $465. That's another $200 on top of it. The last copy that sold. That's how hot that book has gotten. A 9.6 was selling for about $151. The last one sold for $235. If you have that book, it's slab worthy. It is definitely slab worthy. If you think that it's not, you're fooling yourself. You know, that's a slab worthy book. A definite slab worthy book. You know, it's just a lot of these moderns right now. You know, there's a lot of hype behind them. I think some of them will have legs to stand for a long time. Wobbles, what happened now? You've got a Strange Adventures 205, 45 at 160, and now some people are telling me, well, let's look it up, Wobbles. I'll do you that solid right now. Strange Adventures 205 and a 4.5. Last one sold for $147, Wobbles. Yeah, me and Biggs crunch numbers a lot. Me and the New York Warriors crunch numbers all the time. Just you know, it's the season. You know what, Mr. D, I agree. If season 2 flops, but I don't think the book will die. I think that that book will have a niche that it'll stay up. It won't be a $400 book, but you might see it as a $200 book or a $150 book. Everybody think that The Walking Dead is going to be. I mean, you've seen how much it's dropped, but it'll always be $1,000 book. I don't think The Walking Dead will be under $1,000 because remember this: there'll be generations of people later on down the line that loved that series that were kids. that are gonna in their 20s and 30s have expendable income, and they're gonna chase what they liked. The Walking Dead TV series is a show they like. Rocket Raccoon and Groot are things that little kids are growing up loving. You know, Shazam is another one that everybody's saying is amazing. Those are all things that happens because I ran up, expendable income. So when I started getting expendable income, what was I buying? I was going back and buying high grade copies of stuff I loved, the X-Men, stuff that I grew up on. You know, Captain America, finishing Captain America run. So it's what tends to happen. Um, here's a book that I think with properly done in a movie, which he hasn't been touched, and now that Marvel has the franchise. But what about this? Everybody knows what this is, right? You don't think that this is going to be an insane character? Probably better than Apocalypse if done right. Mr. Sinister is insane. You know, mad scientist, you know, working with alchemy and everything else. This is a definite. It's a book. The book that I want, though, is not this. This I have 5, 6 copies because it's still affordable. You know, there's a couple of characters right now in the Marvel universe that I'm specking on for X-Men books if they decide to make a new movie series, because you know that they're going to try and change it up a little bit. It's not going to be that same cast. Everybody wants the legendary cast, but why not add uh, Phantom X? Why not put Quentin Quire? Somebody like that. Those are books that aren't that expensive. The other one is Jubilee, Asian girl in a series. I think that would be done properly. She was never given up the proper, but you know, another book that can it be a big book? It can, but the more fun comics one is the one you want for this. Tough book to get in high grade. You know, I've been looking for that for a while. Now, I'm just looking at the chat. I'm sorry, guys. Just reading the chat here. Trading hot books for big O X. What are my thoughts on trading hot books for more reliable books? Absolutely. What's hot? If it's hot and I don't love it, I flip it. I'll sell it to get another big book, and that's what I do. That's why I do these auctions. You know, it helps pay some things, and it helps me buy bigger and better books. You know, I went to New York, Big Apple Comic Con, and I bought some books that I liked with stuff that I had sold. You know, things that I had sold. So you know that's the way it is. Somebody was Model Volt was talking here about X-Men 12. Juggernaut, yeah, but that's Model Volt's talking about he invested in X-Men 12 and 13. Those are keys. At least 12 is, you know, his first Juggernaut. That's always going to be a key. Yeah, Shazam 1 has not picked up. I'm just looking at Comic Books Champs. Hasn't picked up as much, but I think, I mean, I was talking to Joker M21, who went to see it. He went to sneak peek, and a couple other guys, and everybody's raving about it. I think it's gonna have a lot of hype, and if you know you see and you know anything about the Shazam and that whole family, you know, you got Mary Marvel and Captain Marvel Jr. I mean, Tony the Cat. There's just a lot. It's just could be done. A lot could be done. Black Panther 1 worth getting slept. Yeah, it hasn't died down. That book, not as high as it was, but it's very popular. I tell you what's another one that with the movies and jumped up is that first Shuri, you know? And they just announced that they're possibly going to be doing in the Marvel streaming, they're going to give the guards, the one that Michonne plays, her possibly her own series on the Marvel network. So you know, it's funny. Yeah, see that you're man from Beantown. You're just like me. I want an FF5. That's a wish list book for this year. I didn't do a top 10 this year. only because last year I knocked off 4 books last year, but it changes every year. I just midstream in the middle of the year, something really catch my eye. But an FF5 is a book I want. Um, Bad. An Amazing Spider-Man 9, First Electro is a book I've been wanting for a while too. You know, so a couple of those books that you just really want. Hellboy. You know what? I'm not thrilled with the trailer. I love the first Hellboy. Love the first Hellboy. I thought that was one of the best superhero movies done. Um, you know what, Eddie? I don't know what the print one is on Shazam 1, but it's a 1970s book, so they were doing bigger print runs back then. You know what? Nemo Comics says I don't think Wolverine is going to be in a Disney X-Men. I really think X-23 might take over. He might not be in the first movie, but there's no way you're going to keep Wolverine off the screen. I think the demand by the fans is going to be too large. Might be a small cameo somewhere along the line leading into it. But X-23, I think, will be a better character. And how about this? You introduce X-23, right? But how about introducing Honey Badger? It's another character whose popularity is with youth is really big. And that's what counts. When we were young, we loved something and it drove the market. Look at Transformers, look at G.I. Joe, look at He-Man, all of those things, Star Wars. The market is driven by the youth. And when we become older, we go out there and we start buying up all those 1970s Star Wars cards. An unpunched one from Series 1, amazing, right? Or the He-Man stuff, or, to get in the Skeletor's castle and all of that stuff. Everybody runs Power Rangers. Power Rangers is my son's era, and there's a premium for that now. You get I bought him an original Dragon Dagger that I found, but it's $100 if you find it. I didn't get it, pay $100, but it's $100 out there. It's things like that you ever go to a con and watch Jason David Frank's line. It's ridiculous. The guy just makes money over money. Yep, toy sales push a lot of it, as Biggie is saying. But He-Man is, well, they had Dolph Lundgren playing, in that He-Man movie. I don't know. I think that movie would be done right. I think that could do very well, Well, that's what I would hope is that it's a no-name character, no-name person, somebody smaller, up and coming, to play Wolverine, that will fit that role and define it as their own. Jackman did a great run on it, with the limitations that would get brought to him. But I think it could be done better. Just my opinion. But you just do the whole thing when he's in Madripoor and with Patch and all of that stuff. You could make it a spy thriller. You can make him anything. Do a whole thing on the Weapon X, and if you do the Weapon X story arc, what can you introduce through that? You can introduce Alpha Flight, the Canadian team, and you could bring in Puck, and you could bring in Sasquatch, or you could bring in Vindicator, and all of these other characters, North Star, and everything else. You bring in a gay character, you bring in North Star. It just sky's the limit with that stuff. There's so much stuff that could be out there, but I see sometimes in the chats that people are like, just focus on one thing, and it's true. Focus out and collect what you love. But just because you don't love it doesn't mean that somebody else isn't going to love it, and that it doesn't have a market or won't be valuable somewhere down the line. That's all I'm saying. Look at Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is one of the biggest examples of that. People just love her. That book's not going to go down. It doesn't go down. I kick myself in the ass every time when I could have had that book for $50, $60 on the CGC forums. And I just was like, that's too much for that book. I don't do that anymore. If I truly believe in that book and I see the heat on it, I go for it. And that's what I did with Batman Who Laughs, the Teen Titans 12. Every time I saw it, I was picking it up, even if I was paying $25, $30 for it. Look at it now. That's a book that just doesn't stop, Another book that, this year. Spider-Man 2099. Now this one here, Toy Biz variant. Big difference, but This character here has a whole lot of potential. This book, his first appearance went from a nothing, a dollar book, shot up. Everybody was running to get it, running to get it. Now I'll show you something that I think will die down, and I wouldn't invest heavily in. Is Ronin. Listen, that's going to be in the movie. I get all of that. That's fine and dandy. It's in the movie, but once the movie's done, what happens with this character? Nothing. Nothing. So that's what you have to differentiate and make that decision on what you're going to invest in. Because I don't think that book merits me investing deep in it. If I have it for $1 and I grade it and slab it, and let's say it costs me $22, and I come back to the 9.6 or 9.8, and I can make $100 and some on a dollar book like that, I'll flip that every day. Flip it every day. And again, guys are asking, do we think do we think that we'd ever see Vindicator or anything? I'll never say never anymore. Never say no to anything. How many characters have we seen that we never thought we would see? Just it's an age that I've been looking at. Yeah, Rags like me, and Rags is a big variant collector, big modern collector. You guys know his collection is immense. He like I invest in everything, but he says the same thing. Pay it now or pay more later. Ultimate Fallout 4 is that prime example. 3 years ago, that variant, you could have had that for $100. I got my copy for $25, but $100. You're talking that book in the height. Let me take a look at it. But I know when the movie was at its peak, that was a $2,000 book. $2,000 for one book for a variant, a 1 in 25 variant at that. One in 25 variant. Ultimate Fallout number 4, 9.8. 9.8 variant edition. Yeah. Last sale on Ultimate Fallout, there have been 6 that have sold. And watch this. 6 Ultimate Fallout 4 Marko Djurjevic variants. They were 1 in 25, I believe. They were the connecting covers. Have sold in the last 90 days for an average of $2,011. The last one just sold for $2,200. That book has not stopped. It has not stopped. A 9.6 on that book. $731. Just the book is just got legs. Hold it. I don't think it will drop though. I think it will stay in that comfort level. I saw an announcement the other day though that when Disney takes over all of those Netflix series, they might be redone differently. So, and possibility of having them go from the TV series crossing over into the movies. So, think about Daredevil crossing over into the cinematic universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That would be insane. I agree, Mr. D. And there lies the trick. Who's going to be an A character? Who's going to be a B character? And that's why I collect what I like. That's why I buy what I read. I think A characters are usually with somebody that has a great story arc. Now, don't get it twisted. The book could suck initially, and all it takes is a great writer to come along and write a phenomenal story, and it blows up. And the best example of that, the X-Men. The X-Men was poorly written. It went into reprints from issue 66, I believe it is, or 67, to issue 93. And then, boom, what happened? Issue 94 and Giant Size X-Men come out. We reinvent the team, reinvent certain things. And now Scott Summers and Bobby Drake and Hank McCoy and Jean Grey are household names that will last forever. But it took a story arc written by, Claremont and Cockrum doing all of that stuff, We all forget things like that. it took a great story arc to turn something like that into a great book and bring it to the light. And then the TV series and the cartoons and did all of that, made that hype train even better. But X-Men was a dead book, a dead book, you know. But that's about it for now, guys. I appreciate you guys coming out here, just hanging, shooting the shit. Go check out the New York Warriors. They got their live show coming up at 10 o'clock. Be a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, always some good times. They always hit on good topics. I try and basically lead up into them a little bit because I got to work early in the morning, so I'm unable to stay up that late. It's a little too late. New York Warriors have an auction tomorrow, 10 o'clock, 9:30. I'm sorry, 9:30 Eastern Central Time. I believe you got some really good guests this time. Not that you haven't, but you just continuously did. And if you watch them, that's the auction to watch. No disrespect to everybody else, but just book after book after book has been coming out. There's been fire. There's something for everybody to buy. Doesn't have to be a $200, $300 book. There's your $20, $25 to $30 lots there. It doesn't drag on forever. It's usually running for about 2.5 hours, 3 hours at the max. But Archangel's going to be on there, who is the variant guru. You're going to have Fistful of Comics, who's just been bringing fire to these auctions. And Doom, 143, who has nothing but amazing books. You had to see some of the books that he just recently purchased for dirt cheap. And that's on top of Manny NYC's books, Jeff Johnson's books, Big E's books. Walkie 316 has some fire books that he was showing me that I think are going to fly when they're out there for, so check out their auction. Check out their live chat. And until the next time, peace.